Hello, this is Stampy, and welcome to another book diary. Once again, it's been a little while since my last one, but that hasn't been because I haven't been doing diaries, it's just because there hasn't been much to update you on. Now there is, and now this is probably going to be the biggest book diary, potentially, out of any of these, like since the first one where I announced where I'm writing a book. So I've been having quite a strong change of heart. And I think to explain why I've kind of changed my mind in a big way about the book, I kind of need to explain why first. So my plan was, at the end of last year, was to spend a few months doing some more videos on YouTube. I put out a Lovely World video. I started doing a bunch of live streams. My thought about doing live streams more than videos is because it kind of just takes up less mental energy. It takes up more physical energy, but I don't need to keep shifting my mind between what am I doing in my videos, what are my storylines in my videos, and kind of focusing on that and then switching to kind of writing. It was kind of easier just to be like, right, I'm going to live stream, basically just play a game and just chat for a bit, have some fun. I can do that. People get their dose of Stampy for that day, for those that still want that, and then I can go to writing, and that's kind of where all of my actual real thought power, brain power kind of goes to. So that was kind of my plan for streaming, and that was really fun. I ended up kind of not really writing a lot in December, basically because I was kind of holding out to decide what I wanted to do after my dilemma, which I speak about in my last book diary. I won't repeat all of that in case you've been watching all of these. But yeah, my plan was then in the new year, in January, to go back and start editing the books. And my plan was to just go fully focused on book one, forget the other books that I wrote, just go fully, just kind of really grind down on book one, get it perfect, and then really focus on just trying to get it released, and then kind of go through and think about writing the fourth book or then going on to the second book. That was the plan, and so that's what I did. In January, not the beginning of January, I had a little bit of a break, but then at some point in the middle of January, towards the end of January, I kind of went back to the book and I was like, right, this is the day I'm going to start doing that. So I sat down with my laptop, I opened up the book, kind of got myself familiar, and I was going through trying to edit it. And I realized that the book was kind of worse than I expected. And I think having a bit of a break from writing while also just doing a lot of reading of a lot of very good books, when I came back, I was kind of a little bit disappointed in my own writing, and just how badly it flowed. Just the amount of, it's not even like mistakes. Like I could go through and yeah, there were typos, there were grammatical errors, there were things that could just be improved, stuff that could almost be fixed by an algorithm, but just overall stuff where there'd be a passage and I'd read it, or just like just one paragraph, and I'd be like, this doesn't sound good. This isn't, maybe it's descriptive, it just doesn't flow very well, and it's just not very easy to read, and it's just not very elegantly written. And I just would be thinking, I just don't know how to improve this. If there's a problem, I can work out how to fix it. But when I'm writing, I'm just like, no, it's not that there's a problem. It's just the overall quality is too low. And I kind of got a little bit disheartened about it. I spoke to Squashy about it, and she was kind of like, no, it's fine. But like, I kind of realized that to get the book to a quality level where I'd be really happy with releasing it as a thing that people buy as a physical book on bookshelves, it would need either one of two things. One, it would need an incredible amount of work from me, and not just like me putting in a lot of time, me improving to a point while working to get it to a level I'm happy with, and then also still need, someone external to come and edit it and improve it further. Or I'd need to bring in someone very early who is very experienced with this sort of thing, a better writer, to kind of go through and collaborate very closely for probably quite a large amount of time to get it to that quality level, And I guess the third option would be to almost send what I've written as kind of like a story guide, and then basically have a ghostwriter or a secondary author rewrite it. Could, I guess, kind of be a third option, but was never really anything that I would consider doing, because this is a passion project, and so getting someone else to do it kind of doesn't really make much sense. And yeah, so let's look at the first two options. So the first option, me doing it, I just can't do that. Like, I just wouldn't be willing to put that time in, because the fun part of writing for me is the coming up with the ideas and the actual writing and doing new things. And I've been doing, almost as much time already editing as I have been writing. Like, that's just kind of part and parcel of it. And it is, satisfying, and you do end up with something better. But the level where I'd want it to be for like the minimum like acceptable level and the level that the book's at now, like that gap is too big that I just know that I don't want to spend years and years and years just working on getting this one book when I'm doing 4 of them. And the other option, which was to work with someone else, like it's something that I kind of knew I'd have to do, but I think the level that I'd need to work with them, like, it's just something that I just don't think I would find that part fun. I kind of like this being my baby, and I can just do whatever I want with it and kind of not listen to external criticism too much. Like, it's kind of, and it's not a good way to be. Like, I acknowledge that, but like, because this is something that I am doing for fun, and it's kind of, this has been my gateway into writing, I just want to keep this as a positive thing. So that's something that I don't really want to do. So I've kind of got to a point where like I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. I knew no matter what, I wanted to release what I put out, and I was like, I could just release just a download, so people can just download it and they can just read it on their computer if they want. There's even like possibilities to like self-publish through like Amazon and stuff, or other places. But then I wouldn't really want people to pay for it. So then I had an idea. That I could maybe do videos on the book. So what I could essentially do, and this is kind of what I'm thinking at the moment, and this is kind of what I'm leaning more to doing this than releasing it as a published book. So my idea is I'd do like basically a video for each chapter, and I'd set up like a nice scene with a backdrop, get a good camera, not this webcam that I'm using now. Sorry, the quality's not so great for this one, guys. I'd set up a scene and I'd read through the book and kind of do a bit of like embellishing in terms of the character voices and stuff, and then I'd make that into a video. So a lot of it would be, a camera shot on me, maybe a close-up of my face if needed, and kind of, some nice lighting, and have me essentially just reading the book as if someone's reading the story to you, but then also get an artist to do sketches. So the book was already intended to be illustrated, and the style that it was going to be illustrated in would be too time consuming for the amount of sketches I would need for this. So I think it would literally be kind of like sketches, and it would be cool to end up with something, when you see like storyboards for films, like especially like animated films, if you ever seen like behind the scenes of like a Pixar film or something, and you can see almost like these animated storyboards, it wouldn't be quite to that level. In terms of like, there wouldn't be that much movement, I guess, but it'd be cool to be me talking about, and then the character like went into the woods, and then you just see like a shot of like a sketch of all the trees, and just like, a silhouette of the character walking in, and then also adding in some like sound effects as well. So if it says someone's going into the woods, I could play bird sounds in the background, or they're next to the raging river, I could play the sound of water, and with these sketches, just to make it more of a visual experience, to kind of take the production values a little bit higher. I guess there could also be an option to release it in an audio-only format, maybe like on podcasts and stuff. But, I could do, say if the first book is 30 chapters, and I think it might be about 30 chapters, I could do 30 videos, link them in a playlist, so you could either just watch one, and that's like, I don't know how long they'd be, maybe about 20 minutes each, maybe slightly less depending on how long the chapter is. Probably less than 20 minutes actually per chapter. Or then have it as a playlist, so if you want to just go and listen to all of it. And then there would also be the option for me to either like literally as text in the description have the text in case you want to read it or want to read along, or maybe have a PDF file or some other sort of digital file with the sketches embedded into it. If you do want to print it off yourself or read it off your iPad, then that could be an option available to you. I think if it was at the level it would be, I probably wouldn't release it on the like the Kindle store or whatever it's called, or whatever like ebook stores there would be, because I think that it wouldn't be polished enough for that. But if I'm reading it, I think that I can almost like read through mistakes, and I think reading it as someone telling you a story, I think it will be better to listen to than something that you're just reading. So I kind of had that idea. I thought they could just be quite cool videos anyway. I know there'll be a lot of you disappointed because you wanted that physical book with illustrations, and it's, anything. It's just cool when it's a real life thing that you can hold, and I want that as well. But I just don't think that realistically I would be able to get the book to that point. Essentially, and I kind of knew I was doing this, is I bit off more than I could chew. I was like, first time author, never tried writing a book. I know there's the activity books that have been published, but they're, a very different thing than a novel. And I was like, right, let's write a book. And then I was like, okay, let's write 4 books and let's have this big world and all of these characters. And it was too much for a first project, but I kind of knew that. I mean, I probably said it in one of these book diaries. My plan was, after writing these 4 books, that should hopefully set me up to then write, a singular book, and my skills would have progressed enough from learning to write these 4 books that a next one would be better. That is kind of what the plan is. So yeah, that's kind of what my current thinking is. So I kind of just want to write the 4th book now, just because I really want to write it. I want to really sum up this story that I've been working on for like so long now. So I think that's what I'm going to start doing. That's what my main day-to-day thing I'm going to be doing is just writing the 4th book. And then while doing that, also I can start thinking about approaching artists to do this, because it would be quite a big project to convert it into video form. So I could start thinking of artists, getting like sound effects, like maybe some music in the background for parts of it. I don't want it to be too distracting, but just something to kind of, if it's a dramatic moment, just some like, not too loud, but just some like drum like beat in the background or something. That could be cool. But yeah, I kind of just want to put this video out just to see what you think. Like those of you that are on my second channel watching a book diary and watching a book diary to this length in the video, like you're one of the hardcore. You're one of the devoted. If you have the patience to sit through and hear me rambling for this long and you've got to this point in the video, you are like in the top percent for those of interest in this project or what I'm up to. So yeah, you are the people that I most of all would want to know your opinion in terms of, does this just sound horrible to you? Do you just think there's no way you'd have interest in those videos? Do you think actually this could be kind of quite a cool new thing? Like, I understand that there'd be a lot of you just saying, no, don't do this, please do it as a book. Like, I get that. I just don't think that could happen, to be honest. Like, if I'm being realistic, I think that, like, I don't have it in me to make that product, and I think that I wouldn't want to work so closely with someone else that I feel like I'd lose a bit of what it is. And also just in terms of a day-to-day, like I love being able to chill on the sofa with my dog and play music and just sit there and write. And I think if I'm collaborating so closely with someone, like that experience kind of just becomes meetings. And that's something that I'd like to avoid. But I do still have ambitions to write actual books in the future. I just need to get better. It's just a skill I need to learn, and I'm happy with the story and the characters of my book. Like, I like that. Like, I guess a way to put it is, imagine there's like quite a nice, pretty scene, and I like the look of this scene, like a landscape. I can see, there's nice trees and a river, and it all looks really pretty. Like, I like that part of it, but then I'm trying to paint it, and my painting comes out all a bit warped, and the scale doesn't work, and my painting doesn't look like the scene, but I like the scene. And so that's kind of where I am. Like, I like my story, I like my characters. Like, I don't think it's big-headed for me to say that. I think it's the sort of story that if I was reading someone else who's wrote a better book about it, I think I would enjoy it. So that's the stuff I'm happy with, and I think that's the stuff I can get across by reading it. It's kind of the conversion into words where I have, maybe not hopefully reached what my full potential could be. So yeah, please, like, as much feedback, be nice, but please tell me what you genuinely think. If you have any suggestions or feedback, this is really a video where I'd like to know what you think, because yeah, this would be a huge change in this big project for me. But yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you so much for your patience listening to this long rambly video. There'll probably be one within about probably about a month or so from this one, where I will follow up a little bit with how things have been going. But yeah, apart from that, have a good day, and I'll see you later. Bye.